Welcome back to another brand new episode of E on the Mic. I'm your host E, and today we are doing our week two picks as we're gonna still run it through on the Run Your Pool. Our week one already went by already. If you still want to join into the Run Your Pool to pick your who you think's gonna win, you can join in. The link is still gonna be in the bio below. Check it out because if you do win, you do get a chance to win a jersey from me. But without further ado, let's dive into this. Here we go. Our first Thursday night football game on Amazon. The Chargers and the Chiefs. Great, both two teams there having great victories. The Chargers beating against the Raiders. Kansas City beating the Arizona Cardinals on the way. Kansas City is at home here. This is going to be a close fight-off game. AFC West division rivals. This came down to the wire last year in overtime, and I think it's going to come down to a close game. And I'm going to go with the Chiefs there, even though I have the Chargers winning the division here. I think it's going to be more of a split. So I do have the Chiefs winning it at home against the Chargers. I still feel this is going to be a great Thursday night football game. Then this will be the first time going on streaming platforms instead of the traditional NBC, CBS, Fox, ESPN. So those are the main keys to look at there. I like the Chiefs in that situation there. Now going to our next matchup here, Carolina against New York Giants. This time the Giants are at the home team here. The Giants had a gutsy call near the end to win over the Titans, especially Randy Bullock missing it for them to secure the win there. Carolina Panthers looking for a win there after the tragedy loss there 26-24 at home against Cleveland Browns, where they could have won there for Baker Mayfield there. I really like the Panthers situation. I feel they'll get their first win there. I like Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is coming back from previous years. He's returned. But I think it's going to come down to another once again close game, and I like Carolina as a away team here. I just really see Carolina, especially Baker Mayfield, have the momentum near the end against Cleveland Browns, and I can see that once more against the New York Giants. So I like Carolina in this situation. Going to New England and Pittsburgh now. This two teams here, Pittsburgh coming off with a gracious win there. Hopefully they'll get TJ Watt back in October instead of having him close down for the year. Najee Harris was expected to play. Most likely will play against this team. New England needs to pick up the pace there. Defensive coaching calling has been terrible for New England there, especially when they play against Miami this past week, only getting 7 points off the board there. Now, of course, the interception and the two forced fumbles really cost them on offensively wise there. I like their defense there, but I think it's going to be too much. Mitchell Trubisky on that offense and that Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They got 5 turnovers on Joe Burrow's offense, and it's going to be once again another field day for the Steelers defense there. I got to go with the Steelers, the home team here. They just have the advantage there, and Mac Jones not being 100% once comes back because he's most likely going to be playing against the Pittsburgh. I like Pittsburgh in this situation as of right now. As we go to the next game here, Tampa Bay against New Orleans. The kryptonite of Tom Brady is against New Orleans, and this will be in New Orleans here. I like New Orleans here. I'm not sure if Tampa Bay has it to beat New Orleans. New Orleans owns Tampa in the regular season, and I don't expect them to put up too much of a fight there. I think it's gonna be close. I just feel New Orleans will top it off near the end of the game where they blow it out of proportion near the end of the game. Tom Brady has been struggling as New Orleans since he has arrived in Tampa. So I gotta go with the home team here of New Orleans. Now going with the Jets and Cleveland. The New York Jets with Joe Flacco versus Jacoby Brissett and the Browns offense and defense. I like the Browns here. I didn't like how Joe Flacco played in week one against the Baltimore Ravens, especially a interior team there. I still feel the Browns can go 2-0 this team here. I think with the run game with Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, and there's a base defense with Myles Garrett and that defensive line and coverage. I like their situation for Cleveland to win this game right here. It's gonna be tough for the Jets to win this, especially only pulling off 3 points before garbage time, which is really it's really questionable there. So I got Cleveland right here. Now, the pick that everybody's been waiting for here. Who do I got, E? Dolphins or Baltimore? Well, two teams here. coming out from great victories there. Baltimore from the Jets, Miami from the Patriots. Both teams have great defenses. Both teams on Baltimore has a little bit better offense than Miami's offense. Besides the receiving core, now compared to quarterback, offensive line, and tight end, you give it to Baltimore there. The only way Miami can win this game is to really contain Lamar Jackson and to play the same amount as they did against New England. This one right here is gonna be tough for me. I think this is the game where Baltimore gets the revenge over Miami from last year. I think Baltimore would be too much for Miami. I as much Miami has to play the same way as they did in Game One against New England to succeed because that offense for Miami last week, we had some great moments. We had some great moments to Tyree, to Jalen Waddle, but didn't really pass to other targets there, and especially that one, especially Tua was struggling a little bit, almost getting picked up twice. One that Tyreek Hill stole away the catch, and the other one was nearly should have been picked, but the defender did drop that. So as of right now, I'm gonna say Baltimore will win this one, but keep in mind this will be a close game. This will not be a blowout by Baltimore. This will be close. Going to Washington and Detroit. Now, both teams, Detroit's trying to look for the win. They almost sneakily came back against Philadelphia, while Washington barely beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 28-22. Detroit is the home team again. Carson Wentz against Jared Goff, number one and number two, playing against each other. All the draft prospects. Hmm. I'm gonna go with Detroit. I feel Detroit will win their first game. They should have actually came back against Philadelphia. Philadelphia got really lucky, especially that run game. I Detroit had a great run game there against Washington. Washington allowed James Robinson getting more than 70 plus rushing yards there, and Travis Etienne. So I expect to see a lot more run game, especially against Detroit. Detroit is going to win this game here. I got Detroit here. I got the home team here. I do not have Washington this time around. Going up next is the Colts and the Jaguars. Jaguars looking for a first win. Same thing to the Colts because the Colts did tie against the Houston Texans last week. Now, these two teams, last time these two teams played, Jacksonville did win at the last week. I'm gonna go Jaguars. I like the Jaguars here in this situation. The Colts really struggled against the Texans. They finally came back near the end of the game, but I feel Jacksonville at home can stop the Colts run there. I just don't see the way that the Colts played in Week 1 against Houston didn't look too great for the Colts there. I think they'll actually lose instead of a tie here. I'm actually say Jacksonville for the win. Now going to our next game here, the Rams against the Falcons. This is a comeback game for the Rams. I know Atlanta had a lead 26-10 over the Saints, which they choked away to 27-26. But I think this is the comeback for the Rams after a game blown out on Thursday Night Football last week, 31-10. This is the moment for Matthew Stafford and that offense to build from this game and moving forward with that offensive line. Because if they struggle the way they do, this is not going to look like a pretty game for them. Going to our next game here, San Francisco against Seattle. Seattle coming off an impressive win over the Denver Broncos on Monday Night Football, 17-16, while San Francisco sneaking up in Chicago after a muddy rain day, 19-10 Chicago with the victory there. This is gonna be San Francisco winning this game. I do not see Seattle winning this, even though Seattle's the away team. I just like San Francisco bouncing back after that devastating loss there. Trey Lance needs to step it up for that offense. 100%. There should be great weather for him. No weather issues for Trey Lance here. I feel San Francisco is going to be the one that will win this. Although, watch out for Seattle's defensive line, stopping the Broncos' run game twice at the goal line, fumbling twice. So I gotta give this one to San Francisco right here. Going to Houston and Denver. This is where Denver really needs to pick it up their pace here and win a game here. So I'm gonna go with Denver, even though I have that feeling Houston may win this one. I just gonna go with my gut here. Denver. Gonna go with Denver here. Denver did struggle a little bit, but I think this is where Denver re- bounces back, and wins at home for their crowd. Going to our next game, the Cardinals and the Raiders. Both teams devastating losses there, especially the Cardinals losing the Chiefs tremendously and their home. while Las Vegas lost in Los Angeles on a very tight game. This one right here, I'm gonna go with Las Vegas here. I really like Las Vegas, although they did struggle against the Chargers, going 3 interceptions. Derek Carr. I think that with great connection, going right back home, will give the Raiders a nice victory to get the momentum back in this AFC West. I like the Las Vegas Raiders. Then going to Cincinnati and Dallas. This one is not too much simple here. I like Cincinnati. Unless Cooper Rush is going to give them deliver against the Cincinnati Bengals, I don't see it there. Maybe the Dallas defense could keep them in the game there, but I do not like that offense right now. CeeDee Lamb only getting 2 catches, 29 receiving yards. Kind of disappointed me a little bit there. Dak Prescott could be out for 6 to 8 weeks. Knock on wood for its recovery. I like Cincinnati in this situation. This is where Joe Burrow bounces back after that woof, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Did not look great. Tell you what, did not look great against Pittsburgh. This is where he bounces back. That offensive line needs to change, especially if they want to win this game. Going into our Sunday night football game right here, Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers. Great rivals here. Green Green Bay going 0-1, Chicago 1-0. Now, does Chicago win this game? No. Green Bay does bounce back after going for 7 points, while Chicago only got 19 points, actually more than Green Bay. But this is going to be more. Aaron Rodgers is going to own this more. He's going to make this one a little bit more personal here after losing to Minnesota in Week 1. Usually Green Bay usually struggles in Week 1s. If you've noticed in the past few years, I like Green Bay in this situation here. And now the doubleheader, Tennessee and Buffalo. I like Buffalo. I think it's gonna be too much for Tennessee there. Although Tennessee, Buffalo usually keeps it very close inside. I haven't seen Derrick Henry in his prime moment as of right now. He could surprise me against Buffalo. You never know. But that Buffalo defense is gonna be too much for Tennessee. Titans. Tannehill did struggle against the Giants that game. So I really like Buffalo in that situation right there. And going to our last game here, Minnesota and the Philadelphia Eagles. I like Minnesota in this situation because Philadelphia, they have a great offense, no question about it. They need to activate more Devontae Smith in that offense too. Love the run game. The only thing that I have against the Philadelphia defense is the defense more like run game. They allowed DeAndre Swift to get more than 100 rushing yards, and Jamal Williams having a day on the running field, almost allowing Detroit to come back in that game. I just feel this is a Minnesota, especially Justin Jefferson going off against Green Bay, 184 receiving yards, and I feel Dalvin Cook is going to cook it up in Philadelphia. And to combine all the points right here, I'm going to say this could be very close. I would say this would be more of 54 points right here in total. 4 points in total right there. I like it more 54 points right there. Make it we'll make that 31-23. 31-23 will be the final score there. For Minnesota winning at 31-23 will be the final score on the doubleheader there. But that's going to do it here for our Week 2 predictions. Let me know if you agree or disagree. And also, I forgot to mention, I did go 11-4-1 last week in my picks, of course. So keeping up with the picks, keeping up with the status. Let me know how many picks you got last week in the comment section below. Until next time, I will see you guys in the next episode. Till then, take care. Peace.